Alright, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Nassar. Coming back into another intransigent spirit, probably about Shema Shai. And always, Lord willing, I pray these let's be edifying to the Lord's elect. Prior to getting started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kadash. I'm going to give double honor to the apostle elders, a great millstone. They teach well. And peace and salutations to you, Akim, the full inspiration to truth and sincerity and diligence. Alright, Shalom, Shalom. Alright, I basically want to do a quick little topic, as I was reading a precept, right? It made me think of this, just ultimately just touching on legacy, and ultimately what you want to be remembered as, right? Or remembered for, I shall say, right? Ultimately, so every decision, every move that you make right now decides your legacy, right? Whether you be made martyr, right? Because martyrdom, which was a part of our customs, right? We know that that's coming, right? For some brothers, not every man may be beheaded. Not every man not every man's gonna be emperor. Some brothers might be headed. Some brothers might, be prison. Whatever the case may be, whatever. Some brothers be delivered. Some brothers get spiritual powers. But it all leads back to legacy. Right, as we read in the scriptures, we had men that were in troublesome times, right? Hey, what he say? What Apostle Paul said, in troubles often, right? Prisons and stripes he received, and so on and so forth, right? Matter of fact, let's get that. I'll start off with that. This is 2 Corinthians 11. In verse 26, it says, in journeyings often in perils of waters, right? In dangers, right? In dangers of waters, right? It says in perils of robbers. It says in perils by my own countrymen, like the scripture tell you, just that a prophet have not honor in his own country, in his own city, right? It says in perils by the heathen. It says in perils in the city, and perils and perils is like troubles and dangers, right? So it says in perils in the wilderness, and perils in the sea, and perils amongst false brethren, right? So you go through, different perils. There's all type of, troubles and dangers and things that lay await for us as we continue to live and continue to walk this walk and fight the fight of faith, right? It says in weariness and painfulness, because what he was basically going into was showing that he went through all of this, right? For the ministry's sake, right? So it says in weariness and painfulness and watchings often, and hunger and thirst and fastings often, and cold and nakedness, besides those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. So he went through all of those things for the care of the body. You see, and likewise, you brothers that constantly, do the works, be in the faith, calling Yahweh Shemel Shah, so on and so forth. You see, right? But this, right, the point of bringing this out is to show that what legacy in which they understood, right? The men of old, right? They understood, right? They understood legacy and actually thought about, the future and how the decisions that they made would affect it, right? Which goes back to, like we say, they understood legacy, and ultimately coming back again in the reincarnation. And Apostle Paul also spoke about what the reward, all right, for him remaining and keeping the course, right? And that same reward which we receive when we keep the course, right? But ultimately, this is about that legacy and what you want to be remembered as. So we're going to go through hardships and go through troubles and go through, especially entering into the times of Jacob's trouble, we want to go through hell, right? It's going to get bad before it get better, right? And that's beautiful, right? Because we know that, better is coming, right? The scripture says, where the wickedness is sown is to be turned upside down, then cannot which come which bringeth up with good. So that kingdom can't come unless chaos hits the streets here, right? Like the scripture tells in the book of Jeremiah 30, that it is the time of Jacob's trouble, right? They told us like a time never seen before is what we're entering into. Well, we're going to be in perils of a lot of things, man, right? We're going to, it says that Esau is going to come down having great wrath, knowing that he have a short time. And I'm just paraphrasing a lot of these verses, right? To put it all together, right? We spoke about it earlier, how some going to be beheaded, right? Ultimately persecution, right? That persecution is coming. Like it says that they shall, what do you say? Let me get it. This is Luke 21, 1 and verse 12. It says, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you and deliver you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings. It says, and rulers for my name's sake, for the name's sake of Yahweh Shemashah. So for this ministry, right, and for what we preach, for what we believe, right, we're going to, they're going to lay hands on us. They're going to seek after our lives, man, right? And the point of bringing that out is that, the decision that you make in that time, whether you, what did it say they that, damn, oh, let me get it, shall be trodden underfoot. You can say they that consent or something along those lines. So like, I can't remember that precept, but it say they that consent. Let me see. Consent. And bear with me, I'm rolling, so. All right, 2 Ezra 16. All right. 2 Ezra 16 and verse 68. It says, for before the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. It says, and they shall take certain of you away. Right, so certain brothers is gonna be taken until these concentration camps. Like, you look at what this devil doing now. He got this alligator Alcatraz shit that he's spawning up. Right, he's talking about deportation of citizens, mainly you Jakes. Right, the Haitian community. I think he owned them too. Right, the Levites. Right. So this devil is he's putting all his pieces together to come down with great persecution for those that fear the Lord. That's what the scripture says. So it shall be a great insurrection upon them that fear the Lord. When you go into insurrection, it goes into a violent uprising, man. Right. So this devil is going to come down violently upon us. Right. Knowing that, we know that it's going to be a terrible time. Right. So we ought to be what? Building up now, building up in the spirit now, sowing bountifully now. Right? So that we can be prepared and we can be ready, being built upon our most holy faith in Yahweh Shemashah, because that's what we're going to need, and that's ultimately what we're solely going to be relying on and living off of, is faith. Right? Like the scripture says that the just shall live by faith, man. You see? But when we're talking about this, we're seeing that what? Hardship is coming. Right? The Lord ain't gonna just hand you that kingdom. He just not just finna hand you that crown. You gotta, show worthy. Show that you're worthy of it, man. Right, through actions. It says, let us not love in word, but in deed and in truth. You see, so it says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take certain of you away and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. So this devil is going to try and get us to go off, right? He's going to deprive us, right? Especially, he put you in those concentration camps. He's going to torture. Some brothers may be tortured, right? But remembering is that is whatever decision that we make in that time, it depends on the legacy that will be left behind, or left for the future, I shall say. Because like we're reading now, we're reading in the scriptures, we're reading of a legacy of men that came before us. Right, we're in the kingdom. We're going to be telling the stories about Babylon. Right, it's going to be known who folded. It's going to be known who gave up the ghost and laid down their lives as a living sacrifice. It's going to be known from those brothers that were beheaded, right? And it's going to be a great reward for that, man, right? So it says, and they that consent, so those that consent and conform, right? It says, unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. So it's a judgment, right, for consenting. It's a judgment for subscribing to this devil's system and what he's going to give, what he's going to be what's the word I'm looking for, putting before you to make you fumble, man. That's why the scripture says that that the Lord, that we damn, it escapes me. Let me get this. Salakia. This is Revelations 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, that hour of temptation that will come upon the whole world to try them, like the scripture says. Oh, right here. It says, keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. When you go into that word try, let's get it in a blue letter. This is Revelations 3 and verse 10 in a blue letter. Hold on, let me see if I can flip this camera too. Can you flip that, John? Oh, that took a picture. I don't think I can flip that, John. Yeah, I don't think I can flip that, John. Oh, Salaki. Alright, it's good. Whatever. I'll just, I was trying to flip it, but it's alright. Alright, so when you go into this word try, it says, let me get try right quick. Come for the whole world to try, right? When you go to this word try, it says to whether a thing can be done, to attempt the endeavor. It says to try, to make trial of, to test for the purpose of ascertaining his quality. So to test the quality of one, the faith of one. It says, or what he thinks, or what he thinks, how he reasoned, right? It says the fire proved the potter's vessel, and the trial of man is within his reasoning. So the Lord wants to know how we reason, right? And how we judge matters and how we respond in the moments of difficulty, right? That's the test right there. It's the ultimate test to see how you respond in the moments of difficulty. Wife going to get the chip, daughter's going to get the chip, you by yourself, right? What you do, right? You ain't eating a couple of days, what you do, It says, or how he will behave himself, right? It says to try one's faith, virtue, character by the enticement to sin. So that try to try to get you to go off. Well, the Lord said, he that keep the word of my patience, I will keep him from that, man. We're going to be kept from that, preserved from that, right? Through wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? That's what's going to keep us. It says that wisdom, knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of salvation, man. You see, that's what we got to grab hold to. That's what we got to cleave unto, right? In order to leave back a good report, a good legacy. You see, because the scriptures tell you that it shall no longer be spoken about how the Lord delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt, but how the Lord lived that delivered the children of Israel out of the land of the north. So what we do now is it determines our legacy, right? Put that up. All right. Let me get this. Hold on, let me make sure I got my badge. Salaki. Oh yeah, I got my shit right here. Salaki, I'm pulling into the job, so I gotta, make sure I'm tight. All right, this is 2nd Esdras 2 and 47, going into that legacy, right? And being remembered as, it says, so he answered and said it to them, it is the Son of the Most High, right? Because Yahweh Shah is going to be crowning the elect. It says, whom that have confessed him in the world. It says, and then began I greatly to commend them. So he commended them, like, damn, like, he commended them. It says that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. You see? So that's what they're going to be remembered as. That's what the elect is going to go down in. Like they say, that's going to go down in history, right? We're going to go down in history if we remain faithful until the end, man, right? And that's the goal, right? Is to remain faithful to Yahweh Shem Shai. So, like, hold on. Let me get past these fuck niggas, man. So, like, you bear with me. You too. All right. What I was finna go to? There's another precept I was finna go to. Oh, Sirach. Yeah. Let's get that. Let's get Sirach. All right. This is Sirach 35 and verse 7. It says, the sacrifice of a just man is acceptable. It says, and the memorial thereof shall never be forgotten. You see, so it's never going to be forgotten, the works and the labor and love that we're putting into this thing, man. Right? It's going to be a memorial forever, and in heaven, in the heavens, man, is known, right? And then the kingdom is going to be greatly known. Those that stood stiffly for Yahweh Shemel Shai, those that didn't fold like a lawn chair, or fumble, or drop the ball, right? It's going to be known, you know, those that remain into the end, man, right? And that's going to be beautiful, if, you know, if you know, Lord will not be at that number. You brothers that's listening, that's tuning in, you know, that's sowing in the spirit, right? It's a high possibility that we do be of that number, but, you know, it's still in hope and faith that we be at that number. You know, Lord willing, we be at that number, man, right? And we don't give up or drop the ball like many do, man. There's many that drop the ball and give up, right? Like the scripture says, they were of us, they will have continued with us, man, right? But it says that that sacrifice of a just man, right, is a memorial forever before Yahweh Shemel Shai, and it's acceptable, man. You see, because about when we want to be remembered as. Look at Lot's wife. It says that she is a memorial of an unbelieving soul. Right, that's something that we know about to this day. That happened times ago, long time ago, and we read about it, man. So that means she went down in history as an unbelieving woman, someone that was holding on to the present life that she was living, man. You see. Matter of fact, I'll give you another account, right? I love reading this account of Eleazar. And I ended off with this one. 2 Maccabees 6. I'm at my destination, so I ended off with this. This 2 Maccabees 6 and 18. It says, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes and an aged man in a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and eat the swine's flesh, right? So they wanted them to go off. They wanted them to eat unlawful meats, man. Right? So, like, let me back in right here real quick, man. All right. It says, constrained to open his mouth and eat swine's flesh, but he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such abomination. You see, so he thought about the legacy in the future, right? He didn't want that stain on his name. And what the scripture says, it says a great name is rather to be chosen than let's get that. It says a good name is better than riches. This is Proverbs 22 and verse 22 and verse 1. It says a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold, right? Because it's many that'll sell you out behind silver and gold. And what the scripture say, it says trade not a friend. Oh, yeah. Let's get that. It say trade not a friend for silver or gold. I believe that's what it say. Let me see if I can find that. It say the gold of Ophir, right? If I'm remembering right. Nah, come on. Is that a Sirach? I think it's Sirach. Salakia. Change not a friend. There you go. So this is a Sirach 7:18. It says, change not a friend for any good, by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. And there's many that's going that trade a brother in for the sea hip, that's gonna give you up. Right? There's many people that's gonna give you up, man. But you see, that shows you that they're not in the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai. You see? And they didn't choose a good name to be remembered by. They didn't think of legacy. They didn't consider these things. Neither did they care. Right? But we care. Right? But back to Eleazar, it says 19, it says, but he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such of abomination, spit in it forth. It says, and it came of his own accord to the torment, right? So he was willing to be tormented and tortured, right? And let them do whatever it was that they was going to do to him, right? And when you continue to read in this account, eventually he did, right? He said that he wasn't willing to, what he said? Let me just keep going. Let me jump down. get straight to the point because I got to get out of here. It's he wasn't willing to confuse the future generations, right? And ultimately he knew he wouldn't escape the Almighty, right? So let's jump down. Verse 25, it says, and so they thought mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and in a moment longer, right? Why should he prolong his life, right? It says, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain in my own age to make it abominable, because they wanted him to act like he ate swine's flesh, and it wasn't, just to deceive the people, right? So it says, for thou for the present time I should be delivered from the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead, right? So that's what the scripture tells us. It says that should we not fear the Father of spirits and live, right? And he made a wise decision. It says, wherefore, a business decision. It says, wherefore now manfully changing this life, it says, I will shew myself such as one as mine age required. It says, and leave a notable example, you see, to such as be young, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and the holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment, man. You see, so this is him going down in history. This is his legacy and what he will be remembered as, and so will you, right? If you make the right decision when the time comes, man. So, Lord, when I pray this lesson was exhorting and edifying to you, Akim, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone who really teach well. And peace and salutation to you, Akim, for one's pushing truth and sincerity and diligence. Till next time, shalom.